Hello everyone, welcome. This is Aluminum Tarot. We're going to be kicking off some love readings for February. Hooray! Okay, anyways, yeah, I decided since February is the month of love and Valentine's Day, of course, I decided to get a little bit into the festive spirit of things, hopefully, and just do a few readings for all the zodiac signs. So we're going to be starting off with you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, for the month of February 2026. Can you believe we're already saying February 2026? We cannot put the brakes on times, unfortunately, but maybe that's a good thing. Still have a lot of room to grow and to mature. And hopefully for this Valentine's Day season, we'll be able to do the same. So I'm just going to keep it brief. I've already shuffled the cards. We're just going to get straight into the message. If you like what you see here, feel free to give a like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell. Feel free to leave a comment below. What do you expect to see this Valentine's Day? Yeah. And also, yeah, feel free to chuck a few quid my way if you would like to support the channel monetarily. So other than that, we're just going to go straight into Aquarius's message for this particular season. So I'm just going to make it the first thing. Overall, for you, Aquarius, for this month, you're going to have the Tower in your love life. And so this reading, since it's going to be focusing more on love, we're going to talk about some of the factors that are shaping your love life. Why do we have the Tower here? Okay, so it's 9 of Cups here, clarifying the Tower. Maybe this is perhaps something that you've received that could be potentially a wish fulfillment in your love life. Hopefully, we'll see what happens and what goes on from there. What we have here in the recent past, maybe you were communicating with this person, or maybe you will be communicating with this person very, very soon. And this is going to be something that will allow you to get a little bit of confidence going, hopefully. Maybe you'll be communicating through text, online. Maybe you'll meet this person, on a dating app of sorts. I can quickly clarify that. Okay, so here we have the 6 of Swords in the reverse, clarifying the 8 of Wands. So maybe this person that you're dealing with, or maybe this may be you may be dealing with difficulties moving on from past experiences. And normally what we have with the 6 of Swords, we have typically a person who has having a very, very rough time moving from one negative situation into the next. Maybe you've been stuck in a particular situation where you have felt that it's difficult or hard for you to find someone suitable, or maybe this is been a situation where you found it very unusual in the dating market, where it's like nothing's happening. It's been like a rough road. You've been running into a lot of duds, a lot of people who are not really suitably matched for you in that case. But you're going to be moving away from a period of feeling stuck, finally communicating quickly. One of the things I'm, concerned about here is that there may be a bit of a lull in that romantic connection, because what we have here is the 4 of Wands in the reverse, and this is clarified by the 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. So with the 4 of Wands in the reverse clarified by the 6 of Pentacles, what this tells us is that, there may be a period where the two of you, after speaking for a bit, one of you starts to breadcrumb the other. And you don't want to get into this energy. What I would say is that if you find someone is breadcrumbing you in this situation, cut it off. Because if they're going to give the bare minimum, you give them the minimum, which is 0. You may as well just not give them anything that's going to allow this connection to continue. Now, we then move into the 8 of Pentacles, which is you focusing on your work. And we'll clarify the 8 of Pentacles just to see what's going on. So, what we have here is, after this lull, we have the Wheel of Fortune actually giving us a little bit more information and detail about this 8 of Pentacles. So one or two things could happen. Either A, you're getting into the point where after you cut this person off, you say, okay, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to go focus on myself. And then that's when things start to move forward for this relationship. I personally don't really appreciate these types of relationships where the person goes through, gives very little. You know, things could, in my opinion, what I think will happen is that after this person breadcrumbs you and you cut them out, the universe will finally know that you're not willing to tolerate any bare minimum, efforts from any people that you may be dealing with. And then that's when they bring in your person. When you're finally focused on yourself, focused on your true essence, your true purpose in life, that's when the universe will give you this. And this will be very sudden with the Wheel of Fortune right here. So what I see here, you're moving, you may be just kind of like flitting about with the dating apps. You may be having a difficult time moving on from the past. So yeah, you get back on the dating apps, you start speaking with someone, that person ghosts, and then you're just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to focus on myself. I'm finally going to put the effort into doing things for myself and working on my own development. That's when the universe is going to say, you know what, you finally learned the lesson. And maybe this is something that you have been focused a bit too much on the past. Maybe the road and the travel has been very rocky in your progression in your love life because you have focused a lot on seeking someone rather than seeking your true essence, your true purpose, your true nature. And once that cycle is broken, that's when you can finally move into something that's a little bit better for you. And that way the universe can bring the right person in for you. Because I see here, we could even say that, this tower moment happens again when you finally step into your emotional independence. And perhaps this may not have been something that you focused on in the past. Maybe you have been emotionally codependent, and that's the reason why the universe has blocked your future love. But once you fully step into that era of emotional independence, that's when the universe is going to say, finally, he or she gets it. Let's move them forward. And finally, they can accept a genuine love offer. Because who knows, maybe in the past, you may not have been able to accept a full-on love offer because for you, you may have not been in the right space to receive it. You may have pushed away positive love offers. You may have accepted shit love offers. And it's about knowing the difference between the two of those that allows for you to finally see what it's going to be worth when you finally do receive the right woman or man for you. So that said, we look into some of the things that we have here. Pulling some cards from the Kipper deck, we have the card High Honors, and then we have the card The Prison. So with that said, we talk a little bit about I'm of the mind where this person that you deal with may struggle with issues dealing with being in an elevated status. So for example, you're a man, you meet a woman, and she's like on Instagram, for example, or she loves to be a model, as models are in 2026. It's basically, it could be a model, it could be a high quality escort, online that you don't really know about. And, they're proselytizing themselves, they're showing themselves on the internet, social media, and you meet them and then they're really just kind of vying for your attention. But what this does is this kind of creates the prison of them being continuously single throughout the rest of their life. And maybe it's one of the things that you want to look at is whether or not people who want this kind of elevated status in their dating life, they're imprisoned by very restrictive, very narrow ways of seeing what love can be about. This is a very Venus and Capricorn way of approaching life, and to an extreme, because some people who are in Venus and Capricorn still, they're able to love, they're able to have a sense of duty and responsibility, as most earth signs would. But in this case, it seems like it's an extreme, and it's very prevalent in today's modern dating society, where we have a lot of people who date because it makes them look good and gives them whatever they want in their selfish desires. And that is where the prison is created. What you're looking for is marriage. You're looking for marriage, and I guess another card came out too as well. So we have this. We have these two, marriage and occupation. I'm almost of the mind where it's like you've always felt in your life that you had to choose between the two. Either you were going to be married and you were going to have a very solid, good relationship, or you were just going to throw yourself into work. And I kind of feel that that's what's happened here. After you realize, like, I've had enough, then you focus on your work. And that's where your occupation actually leads you to the change and the series of events that unfolds shortly after that. So, the last thing that we can pull here, we did have this last card. This is an oracle deck. This is the Guides of the Healing Realms Oracle. And what we talk about in this particular card, we talk about the consequence of fear. It says contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy. Oftentimes when we are dating people and when we are looking into our partners, the types of people we want to associate with, we can attract negative ones because we are associating a particular person with a fear. So it can be a fear of abandonment. So you're willing to stick with people who are absolutely gut-wrenchingly horrible for you, or a fear of being poor. So you want someone who's going to take care of you and treat you like a princess, as many girls say. You may have a fear of intimacy because you've been hurt so many times in the past, which is where a lot of people get that avoidant attachment style. And what this does is this creates people who they will fuck you and they will leave you because they get a little taste of intimacy, enough for them to move on and carry on with their lives, because no one wants to really be without intimacy. But in essence, some people don't want to be too close to it because they've understood what it means to be hurt in the past, or they have just never really cultivated a very healthy attachment style based on their childhood upbringing. So that said, is something that we should keep in mind, that the consequence of fear, the fears that you have dealt with in your own life and the fears that maybe this person that you're dealing with, that has conditioned you to the point where it's made for very unhealthy and toxic relationship dynamics. So say, for example, if you have sabotaged potential love options that you may want to have in your life, it may be to the fact that you're looking for something that's imperfect about them, or maybe you're looking to test this person to see how much they love you or how much they're actually willing to be with you. And so when we approach relationships through a maladaptive, attachment style, these are the types of things that we can have, and they're rooted in fear. And so what it's warning is that in order for a relationship to work, the frequency of fear, you have to transmute that into a frequency of love. And I don't necessarily, approach it too much at a binary, manner like that, fear or love. But in this case, it may be actually doing that. It may be saying for you to, instead of contracting back, expand your awareness of love, what it means to you. Rather than being in a frequency of fear, you want to be into a frequency of love and hope that things will actually work out in the right way. And you don't want to create any self-fulfilling prophecies, which will keep you in this prison status, which is what this card is telling us here. So that's going to be pretty much what we can talk about today. This is going to be your reading for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Thank you so very much for allowing me to read for you. Hope this has been helpful. This has been Aluminum Tarot. Support the channel as always, and until next time, love and light. Happy Valentine's Day when it comes.